Hey everybody, it's Calvin the Go here, and I'm here with a One Piece topic video. And I also would appreciate if everyone here would like, share, subscribe, and spread the word around here. I'm just trying to build a community over here. All right, let's get into the video. So today I'm here to talk about the power levels, or an approximate power level of the post Wano Straw Hats. We just got done with a large war arc. We kind of got to see a good showcase of what everyone can do. And, some of them didn't get to shine as much as others, but we got to see, fights with commanders, fights to get against the Yonko, fights to get the Toby Robo. We got to see everyone in action in some way or form. Some with smaller roles than others, but I think everyone got at least a fair shot at everything. And at first, I'm going to start with the weakling trio, quote unquote weakling trio. They're not very weak at this point. At this point, everyone is relatively strong. I think basically everyone on the crew can at least tussle with a, big mom officer or a Toby Robo. Not all of them can beat them, I would say, especially someone like Usopp currently. But I think that they all can at least tussle with them, and we already saw the mid tier Straw Hats to defeat them, and we know that the Luffy's, the Zoros, the Sanjis obviously could defeat a Toby Robo if they were beating someone stronger than them. So first off, I'm gonna start with Usopp. Usopp, unfortunately, he was pretty disappointing for me in this arc. A lot of people theorize that we are going to be going to Elbaf next, and if we go to Elbaf, he's going to get major focus, and a lot of people think it's gonna, make us forget about his lack of combat skills in Wano. Dressrosa, he went off, he was hooping, and now it's like I don't know. I mean, I feel like with Usopp, there's not really many notable moments he's had. He shot the Kibidango, Tama's, which is really Tama's power that he's kind of dispersing around. Had clashes with Page One and OT, was getting washed. I mean, he just didn't have a chance, right? Uh, he just didn't. He just overall didn't have a good showing in Wano. You know what I'm saying? I thought he was going to be the one to defeat Page One. It seemed like it was portrayed as Page One being the weakest of the Toby Roppo, but even then, it didn't seem like Oda ever made Usopp do any damage to him at all, or anyone really, anyone of note. Um, he was beating up on some smile users, but even then, he was saying he was going to die when he was trying to defend Kinemon and Kiku from the other smile users, and that's when Izu came in, started fighting them, and then fought CP0 and died. So it's really tough for Usopp. He really didn't get a good showing, but I think next arc he will get more focus and he'll get to grow his observation hockey. There was the troll about Congress hockey. Maybe he'll get Congress hockey as well. We'll have to see where things go there. Nothing is confirmed yet. But normally, when there's like a troll gag kind of thing, it normally happens later. Because that's what happened with Zoro and his Conqueror's hockey. At first, it was like, oh, because whenever he was mad, he saw Kiku's arm and broke that it was his Conqueror's hockey moving everything, but really it was just Kaido and his powers. So yeah, now let me go on to Chopper. Chopper didn't have a main fight in the arc, but he had a really good combat feat. He was fighting against Queen, which seems like it was for a decent amount of time. It's really hard to tell in terms of like One Piece time how long he was really fighting him. But even if he was fighting him for 5, 10, 15 minutes, I think that's a really good feat for him. And for someone like me, I'm not really a big Chopper guy at all. I don't really care for his character personally. I used to really like him, and I used to really like him in the pre-time skip. As things have gone on, he's kind of turned more into a merchandise character, and I'm pretty sure there's been things even stating that he's kind of turned to a merchandise guy. But when he went Monster Point against Queen, he fought him for a little bit. Of course, he wasn't really doing much damage. I think it's just impressive that he was able to tussle with them. I think that's the main thing. Some of these guys aren't able to beat everyone that we're talking about. Beat like a commander, beat a chief, but if you can at least tussle with them, I think that's pretty good for now. Especially if we're here talking about the bottom tier of the Strides. You know what I'm saying? Who really, if we're talking about Law's crew, Kid's crew, it'd be pretty high up there. Like if you put Chopper on Law's crew, he would be the right man. And he's not our weakest. I don't even know how I put the weakest at this point. It's really hard. I kind of change every once in a while, but he did have a good showing against Queen, so I will have to give him his respect there. Mostly we saw him do his doctoring duties, so there's not much to talk about him combat wise. He didn't really have much focus in the first acts of Wano, so it is what it is. That's cool. And Nami's an interesting one. How do I talk about Nami here? Nami got the W against Ulti, but I feel like everyone who actually watched the battle can say that Usopp and Nami got completely carried by outside forces, right? Um, Big Mom hit Ulti with the Mazer cannon, and it looked like Ulti died. Now she got up, but she was on the brink. You know what I'm saying? Like Big Mom definitely had her 1 HP. You know what I'm saying? Like we talk about video games. She was literally cooked. It was a combined attack from all three of her main soul homies. And it was a laser beam that blasted right through her torso. And then she got up and tried to fight Nami again. And she also got hit by Yamato's Thunder Bagua. She had a clash with Luffy. So she was going through a lot this arc. And really, Nami just kind of cleaned up house. And even with that, it seemed like she missed her attack, but Zeus was able to redirect, come around, and defeat her. So she basically got carried by Big Mom the entire battle. Her final, like, she hit Zeus. I'm sorry. She had Zeus, who is part of Big Mom's soul, and Big Mom also blasted the hell out of Ulti. So it's like, it is what it is there. She's a good character, of course, but in terms of combatant skills, she has Zeus, which is going to make her stronger, but really, it seems like she's going to be carried by Zeus because she's a glass cannon. She doesn't have any durability. She doesn't have any physical abilities, so it's kind of like, eh. I might be leaning towards her being the weakest, but Zeus is a really big outlier, so it's hard. It's really hard for me to tell at this point. I didn't have the same hopes for her that I had for Usopp, so I'm not like tripping about it. And then she did have a good moment when she was, fighting for Luffy and talking about how she believed in him. So, I'll give her a pass on that. But that's the weakling trio who none of them are really weak in the grand scheme of One Piece. It's funny because all of them could probably go through these blue and just clean house and almost everyone we face. Obviously, Mihawk and Crocodile are different stories, but that's for another day. And now I'm gonna get to the mid tier Straw Hats. I'm gonna get to Robin, Brooke, Frankie, and Jinbei. I know people will probably not like that I'm putting Jinbei in that boat, but I will give you reason for that why. And first, I'm going to start with Brooke. Brooke is the one who didn't get the same amount of focus with the 1v1 fight. I think he's the only Straw Hat who hasn't had a major 1v1 fight yet, and came out on top. Um, it's interesting. I'm sure he will next arc because it's been so long. But he's also been with us the shortest amount of time, right? So I think that kind of makes sense in a way. Uh, he's had little clashes, but really, I think the thing about him is he's one of the clutchest characters we've ever seen. He's very fast. He has cool attacks. I think he is a Swiss Army knife of sorts to the Straw Hat Pirates. Kind of like Sanji, kind of like a weaker version of Sanji, right? Like he kind of can do all these things. He can save people. He can be there, be there. You know what I'm saying? Like he can do a lot of things. He has utility with his Delphi power. He has speed and swordsmanship, so he can bring a lot to the table. I just think he hasn't got a chance to show that in terms of a 1v1 battle yet. But he did have a lot of feats in Whole Cake Island, so I think that's why Oda was fine with not giving him a whole lot in Wano, which is fine with me as well. And then next we have, who should I go with? Frankie. Frankie defeated Sasaki, and really, to be honest, his main body didn't even get hurt that badly. Frankie Shogun was destroyed, by Sasaki, which is actually interesting. I didn't think that he'd be able to do that, but he did. Um, and then he defeated him with the laser beam. I think it was a really good feat for Frankie. Really, it didn't really seem like he was gonna ever lose it. I think that was like a mid high diff fight. I guess you could push it and say high diff. I don't know. He had the V for victory slash. He really was doing well the whole fight. I think it was a back and forth, but it never really seemed like Frankie was on the back burner in my opinion, and he won relatively easily. So that's a great feat for Frankie. Frankie is someone who I've always respected his strength. When we first saw him, he was tussling with Luffy, and he never was going to beat him. But he's someone who I've always respected strength wise, and I'm really proud of Frankie for pulling up the dub there. Next, Robin, Nico Robin, the best girl of the series. She low dipped Black Maria when she got her power up. It was tough for a while. I think that was probably the best fight of the fights against the Trophy Ropo. One of the best fights in the arc. It was really exciting to see that. It had good moments, with the Wings of the Pirate King moment and Brooke assisting her, with fire and all that stuff. I think it had really good choreography, and I was really impressed with what Robin could do. I was really excited to see this arc and see and hope and pray that Robin would get a 1v1 fight, and she delivered 100%. Demonio floor, uh, she did her thing, really. Once she went there, it was over for Black Maria. She got her neck cracked, and it was a wrap. So, I'm really impressed with her. Yeah, you can kind of knock off some points if you wanted to. If you wanted to be petty, because Brooke helped her there. But really, she was the one who actually did damage to Black Maria. Brooke may have deflected some of her attacks, but he never actually laid a hand on her. He just defeated the smile users and the other fodder that were in her room. So next we have Jinbei. Jinbei is someone who, to be honest, I think Who's Who was not a good matchup for him in terms of I think he was above his level. So when he beat him, I think that's someone else you could say that he won mid diff against. Maybe you can say mid low. He never really seemed on the back burner. He had a little cut on his arm when he did the Fang pistol stuff, and that was actually pretty cool from Who's Who. But it seems like the main point of the whole fight is the thing that people actually remember is the fact that it started talking about Nika, and then we know where that leads to. I'll talk about that later on. But in terms of Who's Who's ability to scrap with him, it just never seemed like he was gonna be able to do it. I think someone like Frankie, someone like Robin. Robin maybe is a push, but I think someone like Frankie could definitely defeat Who's Who. I don't think he was someone that was like leagues ahead of any of the other Toby Roppo. In my personal opinion, I think Ulti had the greatest of feats. In terms of the portrayal, you would probably put Who's Who and Sasaki, but Sasaki didn't impress me at all. Ulti had really good feats, and Who's Who did okay against Jinbei, but really, so many people, it was so quick. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people were, all right, well, we're going to get to the next part of the fight, right? Right? No. Who's Who was down after the Demon Brick Fist and socked him right in the shit, and it was over. So, it is what it is there. Jinbei won rather easily. You can argue that he should have been the one to maybe fight a commander like Jack, but at the same time, Inu and Neko, they had so much beef with him, and you could argue that it was foreshadowed from 2017, a long time ago. So I think everyone kind of assumed one of the Minks would defeat Jack, and that's where it went. So that's why Jinbei kind of got slotted with a flying six, someone that honestly isn't really on his level. But at the end of the day, Oda did have him do that while he had Zoro and Sanji defeat commanders, the right and left hand men. So that's why I'm putting him in the mid trio, even though he definitely is closer to the likes of Zoro and Sanji as opposed to the likes of Frankie and Robin. But at the end of the day, he fought a flying six like they did. So I don't want to put him too far ahead of them. And next we got the monster trio: Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji. Um, we know what Luffy can do. We know what Zoro can do. We know what Sanji can do. They all got new power ups this arc. I'm gonna start with Sanji here. Sanji got his genetic enhancements. He is basically Wolverine who kicks right now. He has Ifrit Jambe. He has the speed, the durability. He has a big bag of tricks right now. He defeated Queen. I wouldn't say with ease, but I would say like a mid high diff type of fight. Once he got his enhancements, it really Queen didn't couldn't even do much damage to him. I think once he got the enhancements, the the sword was broke on his neck. He tossed him around a couple times, hit him with some lightning, but he brushed off all those attacks and really kind of whooped on him once he hit him with Ifrit Jambe. You know, combining the arm and hockey with the the faster speed with the hotter fire. I mean, that was a at that point it was he was stacking and stacking on stacking on stacking his power, and at that point Queen really couldn't do anything. He couldn't even see him. He thought he was invisible, when it turns out Oda has confirmed that he was just going too fast for him. So Sanji kind of whacked Queen when you think about it in terms of overall, like how many times that Sanji hit Queen. Queen didn't hit Sanji that much, so it is what it is there. And next we have Zoro. Zoro obviously was one of the MVPs of the Wano arc. Was hooping on the roof against Kaido and Big Mom. Scarred Kaido, defeated King, the right hand man of Kaido. So he obviously had a great arc, great showing the whole time. Um, Clash against Hawkins, defeated Killer. You can argue if they were nerfed at that point, but it is what it is there. So clearly, great showings for them. Obviously, commander level opponents. It's hard to say where they were at because they both beat commanders. So like, let's say if Sanji was maybe right hand man level now, does that make Zoro like a low admiral? It's really hard to say. Um, your guess is as good as mine there. I might try to speculate about that later. And now we have Luffy, the main event, one of the greatest of all time. Luffy putting hands on Kaido, Gear Fifth, the most ridiculous power in the world. I mean, what else can you say about the man? He's spectacular. He has his Conqueror's coding. He has the speed. He has the durability. He's his own now. So now the durability kind of makes sense. So now when you kind of look back on things, like okay, well, it makes sense he survived that. He's his own. Um, Luffy's spectacular. He beat Kaido in a 1v1. He did fight him 1v1 for a long time, but a lot of people did get their licks in on Kaido. But at the end of the day, Luffy probably did a cool 70 to 80% of the damage there. So clearly he is a top tier now, Yonko level, whatever you want to say. I don't know where you guys rank the Admiral versus Yonko. I'd say he probably defeats most of the Admirals, if not, I won't say all of them because I don't think he can defeat Akainu yet, but I think he defeats all the Admirals at this point. I think he's relatively close to Mihawk. It's really hard to say. All I know is Luffy's a top tier now. He's one of the greatest of all time at this point. Kaido saw his potential after the first Red Rock, and then he ended up doing way more after that. You know what I'm saying? So basically, to wrap it all up, we got the Weakling Trio. I think they can tussle with the Flying Six, Usopp, and Nami, yeah, in a 1v1 if they're fully healthy. I don't know if they could win. Chopper, I think he's shown the ability to be able to do that. The mid trio, obviously we saw them defeat Flying Six, so we kind of have a good um, relative location of where they are in terms of their combat skills. But Jinbei is someone I would put on the commander level as well. So that's that. And then obviously we saw Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji already defeat commanders. We saw Luffy defeat commanders last arc. We saw his Wings of the Pirate King. We saw them both defeat commanders as well. Both commanders over 1.3 billion, might I add. And then obviously Luffy defeated Kaido. So he is the top tier of the bunch. He is the head honcho. He is the Yonko. And they have turned into a Yonko level crew. And I'm really proud of the Straw Hats. And I really look forward to seeing what happens to them next and what island they go to. So I think that'll be it for me today. It's Calvin the Go here. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and share to all your friends. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a great day.